All right, what's up, everybody? What's up, Ned, Danny, Tim? How's everybody doing? What's some nice volume so far today? All right. So based on the weekly analysis, so far that candle is looking perfect. You know, we had the pullback to 1930. We've now broken the previous weekly lows coming into New York session. We've had quite a strong move down here below 1915. So I would anticipate a pullback to retest at least 1915, possibly even 1916, which is the support there on the hourly time frame. So looking for these pullbacks here for the sells, looking to target 1910. We've come just shy of 1910 already. And then overall targets for the sells here today, 1905. You've got the support from London session at 1919. You know, so we could even get pullbacks all the way into 1919. If we come up into 1919, I would anticipate that we push up a little bit higher into this 1920 level. You've also got some structure here around 1921. Chat, are you still there? My internet dipped for a second. I hope it doesn't cause any delays or anything. Okay, good stuff. So, you know, keeping in mind we've had quite an aggressive pullback. There's a lot of volume. When you've got nice volume like this, you know, the pullbacks can be pretty strong as well. Now, I know this is quite an aggressive idea, but, you know, if we come into 1910, let's say, and reject, and there's enough confirmation there for me, I don't mind taking some short-term buys for price to come back up to 1915. But safer options here. Okay, internet's giving a bit of issues today. Hopefully it doesn't continue. A lot of rejections around this 1913, 1912.5. I know that when price was trading in and around this, so 1912.5 was sort of the level I was looking at there, and we had a lot of reactions there. So just the level to keep in mind within this range. So what I'm anticipating is either for this 4 hour to start to pull back and leave us a wick to fill, or this 4 hour closing below 1915, next 4 hour pulls back to 1915. So you just need to see some sort of pullback here for those sells. I mean, this move down made a lot of sense. Yesterday we were taking those sells off 1930, basically, off the rejections. I was in somewhere here. So yeah, obviously you guys saw on stream yesterday, I closed out there for about 20 pips on that move down. But discuss the ideas of keeping your stops above 1925. We respect that key level quite nicely. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. We at least came to the bottom of the range, but then New York had a pretty strong breakout. A lot of volume. Who's this? Mad. All I'm saying is don't rush. We've already had nearly 100 pip drop here. You need to see some sort of pullback now. Tapping 1910. Let's see what happens there. This is COMEX open as well. So if you're getting rejections of 1910 now with COMEX, we could start to see that pullback in the last 30 minutes of the 4-hour candle. We can see DXY had that pullback yesterday into that 104.5 level, formed a support, moving back up to 105. So the dollar is just ranging here leading into CPR. Today, I don't find it hard to see us breaking above this resistance today. I just don't think that you'll have the volume before CPR. So careful as we come into 105. We could get some pullbacks here and just see this dollar range. And then what that would lead to on gold is also just some pullbacks from this bearish move. That could be the move for the day. just not stopping. Mateo, US30 is trash today. Okay, well, just gotta wait. How's everybody doing? Did anybody catch these sells on gold? Or is anyone in any trades? In a bar from 1915. Bro, don't you have a stop loss? I think it would be best to cut your losses. Took sales of this current 15. Yeah, nice. Good. No chickens for you today, Danny. No chickens until you learn to use a stop loss. I see the idea, you know, the idea was there beforehand, but as you came into this level, you came in here with a lot of volume. I don't believe there were really any confirmations for buyers. What happened, chat? I checked headlines, I didn't see anything. Morning from Mexico, morning, welcome. This was definitely from a headline. $12.35. Let's see how the 30-minute candle closes. If you close below 1910, that next 30-minute might just give you the push all the way to 1905. I really need to see a pullback here for sales, to be honest. Some sort of structure being formed on the 5, at least the 5. I mean, there's no structure here. Maybe this at New York Open, where you had a minor pullback resistance formed, but I mean, that was right at the open. It was tough. That 15-minute candle close, I guess, made sense. Closed bearish, you know, looking for the wick fill there with volume made sense. But at this point, I need to see something like this. $30-minute close right above 1910. So I wouldn't be rushing the sells right now. 5-minute close like a rejection candle. But there's a lot of momentum to the downside. So just be careful. I wonder if we'll get any moves today. I mean, pre-New York was pretty fire. 100 pip drop already. Still very early into the session. Sure that new 4-hour can give us the pullback and get some sort of continuation here. We basically formed a low, let's call it 1910. So if we can get a pullback to 1915, even 1916, form resistance here, you know, we've got about 50-60 pips of range at least to come down into the lows. You know, that doesn't look too bad. I'm thinking of taking a very low risk idea here off 1910. So I would want to wait for this 5 minute to close bullish. and then looking to counter trend the, take advantage of that pullback. Like I say, when we've got such aggressive moves, the pullbacks can be quite aggressive as well. 1910, very significant level. If we're seeing rejections here, like I say, we could get that pullback on the 4 hour, on this 4 hour to leave a bottom wick. So I'm not in here. I want to wait for this candle to close. But definitely lower the risk. It's closed nice. I wanted to see if it would create a bit of a bottom wick. It's a super risky idea, chat. Don't be silly. Don't rush into anything. Okay, so you got that bottom wick. Obviously, if the 5 closes bearish like this, completely ignore those buy ideas. We've got a nice bottom wick coming back into this 1910. If we can hold above 1910 now, taking buys here with a nice small stop, anticipating that pullback even to 1915, more than enough range, but definitely lower the risk. Also, with no top wick on the previous 30, we could at least come up to 1913 to create that top wick. Okay. Yeah, so we're holding 1910. Cool. I'm gonna give it a shot here. Base of that 1 minute there, forming support. Obviously the 5 already formed a support, so this is just the bottom wick on the new 5. Stops below the previous 5 minute at, let's call it 1909. So yeah, stops about 17 pips. And with half risk, that shouldn't do too much damage. Worst case scenario. This is really like a bit of a cowboy idea. But I'm very confident in what I've seen time and time again. Don't try this at home. Let's just say that. Don't try this at home, chat. So 1913 will be the break-even point. $19.15 will be just a straight up TP. Fucking we are Cowboys. Yeah, let's see. So your previous 5-minute closed really nice there. You could even trail the stop into below this 5-minute low. You don't want to be putting more risk on here than you need to with this sort of idea. So let's say stops. I got my stops at 1906, 1909.6. But it looks like we're about to go break even anyway. Monkey business. What's up, Nico? Okay, chat. Stop loss to entry here. Risk-free trade. Setting up about 20 pips. I'm actually going to secure 50% here as well. Lovely. Be at entry sorted. Yes, sir. Yeah, no. I didn't quite tap the break-even point, but I mean, it was right there. Rather just go break-even. Close some if you're feeling some kind of way. Yeah, definitely be securing something along the way. This is a counter trend idea. We could just be coming up to get the top wick for the hour candle. To even continue moving bearish. There's a lot of volume to the downside. But like I say, when we have this volume, the pullbacks can be quite aggressive as well. And that 1910 key psychological level plus a 4-hour support here to the left. If I knew if we were getting reactions there that we could start to see that pullback come into play. I don't know how far we will pull back. But, if you could get a decent stop and had enough range to play, give it a shot. I wish you the best, Danny. 15 might close engulfing. Let's see, 30 seconds. The new 15 could even wick back down into 1910. You know, I don't mind taking break even on the runners here. Not at all. $15 solid. Yeah, you know, you may come off 1913 here, come back to not back down to 1910. Like I say, obviously I would get stopped out at break even, and then we'll just see what happens at 1910 again. You know, you still could get the same idea playing out, where we tap 1910 and then we get those pullbacks to 1915. I'm not going to give any sort of buyers another shot here today. That was it for buyer ideas. Let's see if those sells can set up. I still want to see a deeper pullback though. Most probably on the new 4 hour. Secured here at 12.5. So it was about 20 pips, 19, 20 pips. Yeah, I'm gonna get stopped out here. Okay, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. Okay. Yeah, out at break even there with the runner. So now just gotta wait. Looks like you are getting a bit of bearish volume coming back into the mix, but you know, this is just choppy on the 5 minute right now. With 10 minutes to go for the 4 hour, rather wait. Rather wait it out. And I know some guys will do funny things. All I'm saying is if you are still holding buys, just be very careful. Don't be ridiculous with the buys. We are extremely bearish. Like I say, you know, that was a riskier idea for sure. And I'm not really looking to take more buys here today. I was anticipating a pullback to 1915. And if we still get that pullback, then I'll be looking for the sells from here. There's just too much momentum to the downside to be looking for buys. Like I say, that what I just did there, don't try at home. If you're still holding buys, rather close. Rather close. CPI tomorrow as well. Things are already popping off. You know, normally the day before big news, you're expecting price to range, but not this time. What I found very interesting is that we're in the same area as we were for the last CPI. So this was our previous CPI in August. And that 1930 is where we pulled back to as the news was released, and then you started to have that sell-off. 1930 was also the key level this week. You know, we've already had reactions off of there. But just very interesting, we're still in that same range, basically. Is it pricing in CPI? Possibly. I think these things are priced in over time. You know, I don't think that this is just pricing in CPI. I think there were some other headlines earlier today as well, leading to that dollar strength. But they are forecasting higher CPI numbers here, which is good for the dollar. And you know, if we get these numbers even higher than the forecast, then we're probably looking at coming down to some of those weekly targets like 1890. So this could be pricing in that higher than higher than previous CPI. Previous numbers were 3.2, therefore CPI year on year. When you're looking at CPI, year on year is going to be the most significant impact when you're looking at the numbers there. So previous was 3.2, the forecast is 3.6. That higher than previous forecast Yes, that could be being that could be currently being priced in. Wow. Um, and then if we get numbers coming out as forecast tomorrow, then you know maybe these were the sells, and tomorrow you're not really gonna get anything crazy. Maybe you'll get pullbacks, and then later on in the session, get the continuation to the downside. Pretty much what we saw last time. Last time as the numbers came out, you actually had a pullback into that 1930 key level, and then you saw the sell-off on the new 4 hour. So we could get something very similar tomorrow. Do you think this COVID outbreak overseas will have an effect on the market in the following weeks? COVID? Bro, what is COVID? Is that still a thing? I don't know, I haven't seen anything. Fuck COVID, man. Unless it's going to bring volume like last time, nah. Can leave that shit alone. If it brings volume like last time, man, I'm all for it. But that's pretty selfish. Does anyone ever think, yeah, so, right, we all traders, we make money off the market, or we trying to get there for some people. But do you ever think about the fact that you sometimes profit off basically like other people's suffering? When Russia and Ukraine went to war, gold was shooting to the moon, and you were taking gold bars, you know? Does anyone ever think about that? I heard something about people with the vax would have more chance of getting it. I actually did hear something about that, which is interesting. It just plays back into the control factor. Yeah. Anyway. Because now what they can say with that is, okay, if you have a vaccine, then we don't want you coming into our restaurant. Or, you know what I mean? Which is hectic. Like they could do shit like that. Unless we stand up, of course. But it's very difficult to have a revolution when everyone is weak. And that's what they've done. That's what the elite has done. They've made you weak so that you can never overthrow them. And that you never rise up. They divide and conquer. Whole racist thing, this, that. Is to confuse people about what really matters. That shit doesn't matter. Military companies were making even more money, that's facts. Yeah, no, of course, the elite benefit off of it probably way more than any retail trader does. Hulle begin die mense weer Nico, translate it. Trend will keep me strong. Wow, storm. Gin is a hell of a drug, bro. This guy. 4-hour candle. Just closed. We have just closed below the support. Nothing major. I think NYC can give us some nice pullbacks here. I don't know, man. If we just keep dropping, it's tough. It's not enough for me. Not enough confirmation. This structure on the 5 is a little bit better, but the timing was off for me. You know, if this pullback to 1913 came at like NYC, and I was getting that strong bearish 5 like that, I could have done something like that. But the fact that we were still above 1910 and had the 4-hour candle coming to a close, it was tough. No entries here. Yeah, 1905 on the way. Uh, 3 hours here, straight downside. No top wick on the last 2 hours. Even the previous hour had a very small top wick. A lot of bearish volume here. At 1905, if we come into 1905, surely we'll get reactions there. It's just tough at this point since, you know, 1905 is the target. For me, I see us, if we come into 1905 now, we could get quite strong rejections, but I'm not really willing to take any more like counter trend ideas. I want to see the pullbacks still to 1915 here for sales. And some days it's gonna be like that, you know. You just watch price move down, move in the direction that you had basically planned for and analyzed for, and then you just don't get an entry, and that's fine. But don't rush, don't force. If it doesn't come, tomorrow's another day. This 4-hour just opened up. It's been 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. You've got no top wick. You know, I'm expecting this candle to get a top wick at least. I'm sure NYSE could give you that pullback. Have to be patient, wait for the market. I've learned that for sure. Good stuff, bro. Yeah, there was someone really impatient yesterday. Someone in the chat shouting, "Bow sell, sir." Just tell me, damn it, bow sell. At least chat is calm today. Nobody's rushing anything. Everybody's being patient, getting ready to take their piece of the pie. That's how it should be. Is that guy still in bars? Oh shit. are you, Danny? I hope you closed them, bro. I know some people look at the chart like this, right? Where this is how I used to look at things. So let's say now this 15-minute candle, we had a support here. We could basically say 1910. You close just below 1910. If you want to look at the 4-hour, you can say, okay, we closed below 1910. And because this previous 4-hour was so bearish, there's a lot of volume still. Once we break this 4-hour low, you're anticipating the push. I've seen a lot of people do that and make that same mistake again and again and again and never learn from it. You know, sometimes you will get the push, sometimes you will get the continuation, but it's so early in the 4-hour. 4-hour, it's a big time frame. A 4-hour candle, yes, this time there's a lot of volume, but the 4-hour is going to take its time to set up. Your internet whiling. Oh. Okay. Honestly, let's just push through for today. I'm sure tomorrow the internet will be better for CPR. The stars will align. The stars are aligned. So yeah, anyway, so this 4-hour, you know, just because we broke the low, don't expect any sort of crazy push now. Sometimes you're going to get it, but more often than not, you'll get a deeper pullback, get a top wick created, get some structure on the lower time frame. And sometimes that top wick only gets created with NYSE, which is coming up in 23 minutes. What's up, Justin? Load shedding ends now at 3. Maybe that's why. Oh shit, Danny. SA is... Oh, internet is never great here. Even if you have the best internet, it still will give you hassles. Oh yeah, so here's the spreadsheet, right? I haven't filled in all the details for the past trades, but these are all the past trades from New York session, just New York session. I do have the other spreadsheets for London, but yeah, this is for New York. And then, like I say, I would like to actually be updating these on the stream. Right, so I didn't do it yesterday, but I went in afterwards, filled these in. So yesterday, those bars, first attempt, negative 17 pips. Tried again, secured 26, and then finally tried the sells below 1925 for about 20 pips. And then you can see I've taken some notes. So some of my notes were just at the 30-minute. The new 30-minute opened up and took out the lows of the previous candle. Just faked out like 7 pips below that 1925 before the move up to 1930 played out. So maybe waiting for the 30-minute to close to see if we would hold above that level. Maybe that could have been a play. Maybe having a slightly bigger stop. Um, overall, not too much to take away. And then another thing here was that my initial ideas were for the sells, but at least in that session, I saw the potential for the buys. And you know, 26 pips, not bad. But the fact that I was in the buys, I didn't actually react to 1930 fast enough. I should have taken profits at 1930. So today, you know, took those buys here off 1910, and it would have been the same sort of idea, taking advantage of the pullback, and then, you know, instead of messing around at 1915, I would have closed out full year and been open to those sells. And then, yeah, more aggressive entries for the sells there would have been ideal off 1930 for me. And I know that like this buying and selling in the same session or like so close to each other is intense. If you're newer to trading, don't mess around like this. You can see we bearish, stick to the sells. If you're newer to trading, just develop a grasp of what's going on with the higher time frame, the overall trend, and just try and keep your trade ideas in line with that higher time frame bias. So coming into the week, this week, clearly bearish, and you know, if you had just been waiting for sell opportunities here, you would have been pretty well off. You know, sells of 1930, we took the sells below 1925 here yesterday, and look, if I had kept a runner, sure, those would have ran really nicely here. I didn't, what can I say? But the idea was there. And then of course below 1915, we're seeing that nice move play out. Just difficult to get entries here for me, but once we get that pullback, we should be sorted. So rather, you know, you're not always going to be trading this pullback. It's very dangerous. It's a dangerous game to play. You're not always going to be trading this pullback. Rather wait for that pullback to play out. Be patient. And even me, I'm not taking all the pullbacks that I see, right? It's only now and then when I see potential. When I know that, okay, I have enough range up to the next sort of level here. How long do you normally stream for? 2.5 hours, 3 hours sometimes, depends. I don't know, we'll see about today. I'm getting a little bit sick, so might not stay for too long. I'll see what NYSE does. If there's nothing promising by 4 o'clock, I'm gonna call it a day. They might be forming a head and shoulders. What do you mean? Here on the weekly. I don't like to talk about head and shoulders, right? But this is something that you could potentially see. This 1905 to 1900 is a solid rejection zone, and it will also just depend on the CPI numbers. If your numbers are lower than 3.2, let's say, for that CPI year on year, then you could see something like that. I'm not sure if this is the head and shoulders you're talking about, but that is a potential scenario. You know, you got a lot of rejections around here. But I don't like to talk about head and shoulders. Even if I ever talk about a double top, which sometimes I talk about a double top, but it's, you know, I like to give some context. Can't just be looking for these patterns randomly in price. You need to understand the overall trend. There's a lot that goes into it, right? Overall trend, higher time frames, so on. This is where I remember this level from. This daily support, 1907.5 to the left. Looks like he tapped that level. Now we could maybe start to see that pullback coming into play. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to be buying now. 15 minutes until NYC. Gold playing with my emotions, how come? Put her in her place, bro. Don't let her do you like that. Don't let her play with your emotions. Let her know who's boss. On the real though, best advice I can give you, lower your risk. That's something I've always said. Now I wanted to sell. Okay, so if you're not in a trade, then obviously lowering your risk is not necessarily going to make a difference. But still, one of the things I always say, lowering risk is an answer to just about everything. If someone says to me, I closed my trades too soon, lower your risk. If someone tells me, I struggle to cut my losses, I struggle to let my winners run, lower your risk. It's an answer to just about everything. And I saw something the other day which explains it very nicely, is that with risk comes emotion. Emotion comes on through risk. So the more emotional you are, it's probably because the risk you're using is out of your comfort zone. You can't tolerate that risk. So lower your risk. But if you're feeling FOMO, then obviously you're not necessarily in a trade. Then you just need to understand how the market works, right? The market is going to pull back. And if it doesn't pull back today, the market will be here tomorrow. And you will get a setup. Eventually. You don't need to be taking a trade every day. careful of GJ. I'm not seeing sells. Thank you, DC, bro. DC plugged us there. He was asking about GJ. Iris. Yeah. GJ. Sorry, bro. Not really something I look at anymore. That daily looks pretty ugly. Yeah, look at the 4 hour. That 4 hour is tough. I wouldn't want to be selling into such a bullish 4 hour. Overall, you're just ranging. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where you're seeing the sells. If it was just this bearish candle, some of these wick rejections, but getting quite a strong push here of 1803. Ask DC about GJ. All I can say is that 4 hour is tough. Look at the weekly as well. Weekly no top wick. Chat, you see what I do there? As soon as I look at a different pair, I try to make the streams as instructive as possible as well. So for new guys, I want there to be takeaways for you every single day, right? So what did I do there when I went to GJ? Did I look at the 5 minutes? Did I look at the 30 minutes? Did I look at the hour? No. I looked at the daily. I think I looked at the daily first. Right? That daily was ugly. I don't know if you could see my facial expression, but that daily is ugly. Then I looked at the weekly. Because understanding the higher time frame is so powerful. Yes, I'm trading a 5 minute. Yes, sometimes I'm even using a 1 minute. But this higher time frame is so powerful. You got to build up a story of what price is telling you. And the higher time frame generally tells a pretty good story. Four hour got the top wick. You're kind of getting a retest of 1910. I don't like it. High time frame is key. Only trading 5 minutes off high time frame direction. Yeah, that's best. I know I didn't do that earlier, chat, but you know, I said for newer guys, stick to the higher time frame bias. If you can see the higher time frame is bullish, then stick to the bias. Don't do silly things with counter trend trading. You will get there when you gain more experience. But for now, trade the trend. Trade the higher time frame direction. Yeah, but thanks for sharing that, DC. Appreciate that, bro. Like I say, I'm not looking at GJ too often nowadays. Here comes that move up to 1915, possibly. Such a strong support here at 1910. I don't know. Thank you, DC, bro. Appreciate that always. NYC in 5 minutes. Okay, guys, I'm gonna come back right now. Hey, let's lock in here for NYSE. Looks like we do have a little bit of a 5-minute setup here coming into NYSE. Now, I don't want to rush and be taking sales right at NYC. What I would like to see is if the new 30-minute candle could wick back up into 1910. If we could just wick up into 1910, no, not that, like this, just get that top wick. And then break of the previous candle low. Looking to come into 1905 with that NYC volume. Perfect. Could even scale into a 1 minute. If you do get a really clean rejection at 1910, you could take it off of that rejection. For a better risk to reward, obviously. Okay, so 5 closed nice and bearish. You already broke the previous 5 low, but just wait. I wouldn't be surprised if you just got a straight continuation now, but I normally like to wait for the first couple minutes to pass. You know, you can easily break this low and then come up still and create a steeper top wick on the 30-minute. Okay, 1910. Let's see what that reaction's looking like at 1910. If you come and break these lows now, I think that should be a little bit better. Let's say sells at like 1908.5. Stop loss above the structure. But let's just wait and see. Keep in mind, you could also still get that deeper pullback to 1915. You know, just looking to the left, our structure here is at, let's call it 1916. You know, that's the most recent structure. It makes sense to come and retest 1916. Okay. There's your rejection. So if we break this low, then I'm going to be in. Otherwise, just waiting for this 1 minute to close. So looking at something like this. Otherwise, if this 1 minute can close bearish back below 1910, can give it a shot like that. Okay, not in just yet. Once we break the low of the previous one, shit. Okay, I'm in your chat. Stop loss at 1911.5 for now. So the idea here is that the previous 5 gave me the confirmation I needed really for the sells. But obviously with NYC, you just want to be patient. So got the bearish candle close and then waited for NYC to give you a tap of 1910. We broke up a little bit higher, but we can see it looks like more of a rejection, sort of faking out there from 1910. You know, you would want to see this 5 closing bearish. So let's see if the 5 closes above 1910. You can look to manage your positions. That 5 is not great. Yep. Stop is at 11.5. Nah. Tough one, Chad. Okay, stops. Yeah, this 1910 is a tricky area. Yeah, that 5 closing bullish back above 1910 wasn't ideal. I didn't close out partials there. Negative 20, 22 pips. Yeah, the way we're breaking back above 1910 leads me to believe that we will possibly see even deeper pullbacks here. Like I said, to 1915 possibly. Yeah, I mean, waiting for the 5 minutes to close, like I say, that first 5 of NYC is always going to be a safer play. But I was trusting that 1910 level, like I say, also the previous 5 already giving you a confirmation. We basically had a fake out, close back above 1910, and then close back below. You know, so I was going based off of that, trusting this 1910 level. And sometimes that's going to happen, of course. So, really not too bad. See what happens here. So with the NYC volume still present, looking at that 5 minute now, looks more like a rejection here to the upside. You know, we tried to push up at NYC, and then this 5 minute is coming to flip back bearish. It's a little bit choppy here, but if you're closing like that rejection candle, you know, wouldn't be surprised if we saw this move now with the NYC volume. It's tough that we're above 1910 still, so possibly just waiting for Something below 1910, yeah. It's going to be safest. Just going to wait for this 5 to close. It'll also be the 15-minute close. So we're still hovering around this 1910. Me and Nasdaq boxing. Who's winning, Ned? I like Nas. It's a little bit more forgiving than US 30. I used to only trade Nas back in like 2020. Nas 1 net 0. Yeah, 10 looks like it's holding here. Don't be surprised now with this 5-minute closing. Bullish showing us that we're respecting 1910 with this NYC volume to start seeing that push to 1915. You know, I almost don't mind the idea of a bar on the new 15-minute candle to get that pullback, because you know we've had quite an aggressive move down here, and like I say, 1910 still a very solid level. Would be pretty much the same idea as earlier on, just using the NYC volume. But I don't want to be taking counter trend trades now after taking an L. So I would rather just wait for these sells to set up. This 15-minute close bullish. you know, I still see deeper pullbacks, like I say, but if we're closing below 1910, those sells are still there. You can see, even though we were closing above 1910, you're just hovering above there. You are seeing some rejections here to the upside. Yeah, look at that. Okay, let's see what happens. See what happens with this 5 minute. You may just break the previous 15-minute low and just push here. But I want to see this 5 minute close. You got nice volume on this candle so far. If we can be closing below 1910, I'll give these sells one more shot, looking to come down to 1905. It's enough of a top wick on the 4 hour. You don't necessarily always need such a deep pullback. You know, we've been consolidating for a while here. If we can just hold below 1910, like I say, with this volume now at NYC, we should get that, or possibly see that move down to 1905. Yeah, waiting for candles to close is very important here. Because, I mean, if this 5 now flips, turns bullish, and closes bullish, then those sells here of 1910 obviously out of the window. So yeah, on the 1 minute, we can see that we broke back below 1910, holding that level quite nicely. If we break below these lows at 1908.54, that's the low from NYC, it's the previous 15-minute low, then I'm anticipating to see that volume to the downside here. You've got 1 minute until the 5 minute candle closes. You know, if we come to break these lows now, then we'll probably close bearish on that 5. Stops would be about 23 pips here. 1910.7. Okay. So chat, gonna give these sells one more shot here. Stop loss 1910.7. got nice volume on that 5 minutes. Final target here is going to be 1903, but main target would be 1905. Stops here. I think you actually put the stop above the 5 minute high. It's a couple more pips, but I think it makes a bit more sense. I was just going based off of this minor structure here. But above the 5 minute high there makes a lot more sense. It's a little bit bigger, but I think that's gonna be a good call. How many pips stop loss? Let's see. 30. I'm hungry for that biltong now. Me too. Yeah, so this 5 minutes just been creating a top wick. We've got about a minute left, so we do want to see this 5 flipping back bearish, right? So 1 minute looks okay. Might just want to tap 1910 before we get moving here. Yeah, not the greatest 5 minutes. You closed bullish, but we were still above, still below 1910 there. So I'm gonna let it do its thing. Just a bit of an issue that we respected this support basically. But we still got a lot of momentum to the downside. And we've still got range to 1905. Just looking at that clean traffic to the left. Yeah, I'm in. Oh, it's this guy again. Whereas he left early yesterday. Okay, tricky situation. Pushing up here. The hourly candle's about to close in 2.5 minutes as well. So I'm going to wait for this candle to close. Stops are basically above this current 15, so if we're flipping back bullish on the 15, then my stops are there. And then, of course, if the next 15 opens up, breaks this high, my stops are there. Let's see if we can close below 1910. Then that would look a little bit like a fake out on the 15. This bullish candle closed above, and then we're closing back below, looking to drive to the next level. Definitely not seeing the volume I would want to see, but we're still respecting 1910 here on the lower time frame. Hourly candles closing in 4, 3, 2, 1, still closing bearish. 30 minutes, very weak bullish candle, so nothing crazy. We still below 1910 there. 15, as we can see, this was like a somewhat of a pullback, fake out of 1910. So let's see what the new hour does. I like the 5 minute, what's going on. It is consolidating. It looks pretty ugly, but we can see that we've had a tap into 1910. So we closed below, pulled back, retested, and we've closed bearish coming into the new hour. Sometimes when you've got that story going on, coming into the new hour off of a key level, guys are going to wait for a top wick to form on the hour in that situation. And then when you've already got the confirmation on the lower time frame, we can just see price dropping here. So if we can break the previous 15-minute low, I would expect to see some sort of push. But this is a support. This is a support on the lower time frame, but with volume, we should see the support being broken. So if there's enough volume, we should start to drive away from 1910. We've stopped the previous 5-minute high. I don't think that's a bad shout. Yeah, just put that level in there for management level. We didn't quite break the previous 15-minute low, but now we are seeing that top wick being created. New hours just tapping 1910 there. So that can be a top wick for the hour. Hard 1 minute, yeah, that's tough. Very tough. Strong bullish 1 minute. 1910 is right there. Let's see how it holds. Last minute of the 5. Don't really want to see this 5 closing bullish. But it is the first 5 of the hour, so let's be patient. If we close above 1910, I will manage my position, so I'll close out partials. Don't love that we closed bullish on the 5, but like I say, still below 1910. So if you want to manage your position at this point, you know, once we break above this high right here. That's an idea for management. You said 2 trades, 2 L's. We ended with 1 L, 2 dubs. Today, seems like the reverse today. Okay. Yeah, we're breaking that high there if you want to manage a bit more aggressively. So right here is a resistance on the 15 minute. So it's kind of like the last line of defense here. It does make sense that, you know, the new hour wants to create a top wick. But I'm looking at the 15 here. We closed, like I said, basically at that fake out of 1910 on the 15 minute. And then that's a resistance being formed. So price can tap into this level again and reject here. If we do break above, like I say, my stop is there. Is that going to be the rejection? Look at that. Pull through for the boys' gold. One Naz, one Ned. G, one Naz, one Ned, 0. What's going on today, Ned? Okay, that should be the top wick for the hour, and now gold, stop playing around. Get moving. Get moving. After this top wick has been created on the 15 here, if we can flip back bearish, break the lows, I'm sure we've got enough liquidity from this 1910 to start moving away. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty low volume right here. Normally I would expect something more from NYC, but not too much happening. Still, you know, can expect nice moves in this time with this clean traffic to the left. If this clean traffic is going to get filled, you know, it should be in the next hour or so. %2 risk on a fund is wild. It is wild. Sometimes I used to do crazy shit like risk 3% per trade. Five-minute no bottom wick. But I'm looking at that as more of a rejection from that 15-minute resistance. At least we closed bearish on the 5. Yeah, broke has a bottom wick. That 5-minute no bottom wick is doing us dirty here. Doesn't look great, really doesn't. You know, like I say on the 15, this is essentially looking like could be a resistance that's being formed around 1910.6. You can see we tapped that level, had a nice reaction. Coming back into that level though. With 2 minutes left of this 15-minute candle, I'm gonna hold off and see if this 15-minute can tell me a story. If we're closing above 1910 on the 15-minute candle, I think I'll close my position, just managing the downside, and call it a day. Hey, last couple of minutes of the 15, anything can happen. Okay, well, we closed below 1910. I think it definitely paid to be patient there. You know, managing the risk, limiting the downside is very important, but also sometimes, you know, just trusting your stop loss and giving it a chance to do its thing, because yeah, look, I don't know if it will play out still, but since since we're still holding below 1910, you know, the probabilities are still relatively in our favor here. But yeah, anyway, let's see what happens. These candles are actually printing side by side, so it looks pretty terrible. Yeah, it is difficult with the DXY getting to close to 105 here. Having a bit of issues. Yeah, look, if we break above this previous 15-minute high, probably best to be out, right? So my stop's a couple pips above that. Let's see. CPI consolidation. It's here. There was such nice volume pre-New York. And then we've just... Yeah. I mean, you had some movement through New York, but this was tough. If there's a continuation, it's now or never. Otherwise, we will probably pull back and just consolidate here. New York took the bag with it. Maybe 11:35. What's 11:35? 12:35. What? Oh, stop loss 11. I got it at 11.4. Yeah. Yeah, on the screen I had it at 38, 11.385. But yeah, I've got it at 0.4 on my broker here. Any day now, gold. Any day. Might be the same story as yesterday. We wait for the second 30-minute candle of this hour. Where was this trade yesterday? We had literally the same story yesterday. And then this drop was the new 30-minute candle. So if we could get the drop before, that's great. I won't complain. Okay, beautiful close on the 5 minutes. Actually, you got no bottom wick. so bad printing side by side. Yeah, it is terrible. Terrible. It's trash. Trash. Forty minutes. 40 minutes of drawdown. I would consider this a Poton on the 15. It's not clean, it's not amazing. But what you have here is a, we discussed that fake out from 1910. So resistance off of a key level basically. And then this next 15 closing a weak bullish candle below that level. Then once you break that low, that would validate that that sort of bolt-on entry right there. Zero volume right now. So yeah, just hoping that the new 30-minute can do something like what we saw yesterday. But we'll need to see us holding below 1910. I would like to see this 15 closing with a stronger bearish body than this. But as long as we're below 1910 here, this could be what we potentially see on the 30 minutes. Come on. No. And then what you would see after the fact is us forming resistance on the 30-minute here at 1910. Or if we can close bearish like that on the 15, you know, that looks good as well. If this 30 could close bearish, that's perfect. Then I would expect a little bit more volume on the new 30 minutes. Because I say we've already had a pullback for the hour. Same story as yesterday. We saw that first 30 minutes of the hour is quite tough to trade. It's normally giving you some sort of pullback. So it gave you a pullback, grab liquidity. If we can hold below 1910, we can still anticipate that continuation, yeah. 5 minute looking proper cuck. Yeah, it is. Mad. Dog shit. You'll see here on the 5 minute as well why 1910 is important. So this is essentially a range here on the 5 minute. So if you're closing above 1910, you're closing out of this little consolidation on the 5. And then, you know, like I say, at that point, you want to manage your risk. If we close above 1910 on the 30 minute, I will close full. So I'm gonna get stopped out here. Okay. I'm out, chat. Out here. Yeah, negative 29, 30 pips. Yeah, not enough volume for that continuation. Anyway, tomorrow is CPR, so, you know, hopefully we get some cleaner moves. Looks like your cleaner moves today were much earlier in the session. Even New York Open was tough today. So yeah, that's gonna be me. Anyway, let's fill in this spreadsheet out. So let's do this quick. So it's the 12th. 09. Okay, so first trade with those bars. Looks like bars might even be the play for the session. 1910.7. Okay, stops were below this 1909, if I remember correctly. So yeah, stops there were about 17 pips. Let's go here. This was taken at 38 minutes past 2. There's no news today. 4-hour and the daily lining up. No, this was a counter trend idea. And then was a bar market execution. What did we call this? Don't really have a name for this setup. Just a rejection of a key level. I'm gonna say range because that's a 4-hour key level. Range rejection. So these are just different like setup ideas that I've listed here. I don't necessarily have like fixed setups. I'm quite fluid with what I look for. But these are the gist of it. So I would say that was a rejection of a support. And then it was taken on. It's actually taken on the 1 minute. But had a 5-minute confluence or confirmation. So I'll say 5 minutes. And then rejection. Off. 1910. Looking for a pullback to 1915. Stop loss was 17 pips. And then 12.5. It's about 18 pips secured there on that one. And then closed out because that was basically TP1 or so I also want to just put in like a reason or the timing for why I've closed, just because, you know, just noting down those sort of things, you can take away a lot from that and see tomorrow, okay, what can I do better, or what what could be improved on. Did I close too early? Okay, then this is why I closed. Maybe I could have done something differently, right? So I think the close was pretty solid. I'm just gonna say target 1. I don't really have any notes for that idea. I think that was a solid execution. And then we got these 2 L's here. Taken out 333. Next one was 349. 4-hour and daily lining up. Yes, so not necessarily just the daily time frame. As we can see, the 4-hour was bearish. The daily yesterday wasn't bearish, but you know, the daily candle is not always going to just be straightforward bullish or bearish. Even though we closed bullish on yesterday's candle, we had a strong rejection of 1930. High time frame was bearish. So you'll see here I said 4-hour and daily or higher time frame lining up. So yes, the 4-hour was bearish in line with the higher time frame there. So both of those ideas were sells. So yes, those were lining up. And then stops on this one are about 21 pips. Time frame. So the time frame here, I used this 5-minute as a confirmation, but then I entered on the 1-minute, and that, you know, that 1-minute was quite aggressive there, considering we were actually ranging. Wasn't the cleanest. So I'll say 1-minute just so that I can note that, you know, I could have been paid more attention to the 5-minute maybe. But yeah, that was an aggressive idea. So rejection off. And then stop loss was hit there. So my takeaway for this trade and the next one will be basically that we had quite a solid drop through earlier in the session. So, you know, I really wanted those pullbacks to 1915. These sort of trades where you don't have the deeper pullback, and when I say deeper pullback, I mean just visually, you can see that these pullbacks are not that deep. You know, I'm talking pullbacks to come and retest previous structure, that sort of thing. So obviously waiting for the pullback would have been a safer play. You know, when there's enough volume in the market, these are ideas that can play out really nicely and very quickly as well. But we didn't have that volume here. So what I can just say is lots of volume earlier on. I know this is painful, Chad. You don't have to stay and watch, but you know, if you do want to, these are some of my takeaways for the day. So like I say here, lots of volume early in the session. I'll say the move already played out essentially. So it needed a deeper pullback or deeper pullback needed for more liquidity to see continuation. So the main thing to tie in with that is that tomorrow is CPI. So like I say, days before CPI, you may not necessarily have the volume that you want to see. We did have volume here earlier in the session, But at that point, after coming into level like 1910, this 4 hours support, you know, maybe you could have anticipated this lower volume, knowing that tomorrow is CPR and there's no real catalyst for us to just continue pushing, right? So CPR tomorrow, anticipate. Because yeah, we definitely had volume today, but can't get taken away with it and just think that it's just going to keep pushing and pushing. Stops for the final trade there was 11.4, was about 30 pips. Yeah. So not the greatest day here, but definitely some takeaways. Yeah. Okay. Do you go over your journal on the weekends? So I haven't been filling this in. This is definitely for me as well as the stream. You know, these notes are things that I'm taking away. I haven't filled in all the rest. I was doing this spreadsheet before I started streaming. And then I cleared that actual spreadsheet, which I should have kept the old one, to be honest. But yeah, I cleared it and I want to start fresh now with the stream, which I delayed it a bit, but here we're starting. It's never too late to start. So like I say, these are the takeaways so far for my trades for the week. Yeah, today definitely could have done better, you know. There's always something that you could have done better or improve on or work on. Things are never going to be perfect, you know. And then yeah, that's that, chat. You've had this pullback to 1915 now, but it's pretty tough, eh? It's kind of late in the session to anticipate that sort of move. Sometimes you do get nice moves coming into London close, but I wouldn't dabble now, considering we have CPR tomorrow. Crazy to think the first trade that it's taken was for those bars, and now that you've actually got that push up to 1915. Anyway, is what it is. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Let's get some rest. Let's get fresh for CPR.